make the Rogan Josh curry, we're going to start off by making a paste, which is going to have all the delicious spices, which is going to make the curry so flavorful. So to make the paste, we're going to start off with the spices, and it's going to be 2 teaspoons of a Kashmiri chili. So Kashmiri chili is known for being really bright, but not actually very spicy. So you can see the spicy chili is actually quite dull in color. The Kashmiri chili is really bright, so that's what we want to use. If you don't have Kashmiri chili, you can use like a bright paprika, just any sort of chili that's not very spicy, but very bright and will add some beautiful red color. So 2 teaspoons of that, and then we'll be using a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of fennel seeds or star anise or licorice. They all have quite similar tones of flavor. And then we'll be using 6 cardamom pods, and I'm going to pop the seeds out of the pod while I'm adding them to the blender. And then we'll use a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. I'm using clove powder. If you don't have clove powder, you can also use a full clove. So you could just add in 2 to 3 full cloves into the blender. For convenience, because I have clove powder, I'm just going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of it. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and then lastly we'll be using a 1/8 of a teaspoon of turmeric. So along with those dry spices, we're going to be using some fresh spices. We'll be using a tablespoon of ginger and garlic, just roughly chopped. We're throwing it into the blender so you don't have to worry about it too much. And a 1/4 cup of some coriander. If you hate the taste of coriander, you can obviously omit it. Now we're just going to be throwing all of these ingredients into a blender along with some red peppers. You can use roasted red peppers. I'm just using some cooked down red peppers. Throw in all the ingredients. Make sure to crack the cardamom pods open. Don't throw in the skin of that cardamom pod. Add in all the dry spices and then just blend that all up together, and you'll get a really nice, delicious, thick curry paste that you can use for the Rogan Josh, and you could also use for really any other curry that you would like to make, any rice dish. You could marinate some tofu with this paste. It's really up to you. There's so many options. So once we've got that paste ready, we're going to start with the contents of the Rogan Josh, and I made a Jackfruit Rogan Josh. Jackfruit has a very meaty consistency. Rogan Josh is usually made with meat like lamb, so that's why I went with jackfruit. So I used 1 can of a jackfruit, like a green jackfruit. If you don't have jackfruit available, you could use other veggies. You could use mushrooms, more eggplant, zucchini, chickpeas, lentils, you know, whatever you would like instead. So I also did 1 of the longer eggplants. We call them Chinese eggplants, where I get them from. But really, you can add any veggies which you feel like would just be good with the curry, or any veggies you have on hand. So once you got everything prepped, we're going to start off by adding 2 tablespoons of oil into a pan. We're going to add in a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and then along with that we're going to be adding in something called hing, or it's also in English called asafoetida. This is just really good for digestion. It's added to a lot of Indian dishes. It doesn't particularly add a strong flavor, so if you don't have it, just omit it. It's just something that we add in a lot of Indian dishes for aid in digestion. And then once the cumin seeds have browned up, maybe about in a minute, just add in the veggies. So once your veggies have started to brown up, in maybe about another 2-3 minutes on a medium flame, the veggies have browned up, you can add in the Rogan Josh paste along with some water. Now it's up to you how much water you add, because that's basically going to determine how thick or thin your curry is. I probably ended up adding about 2 to 3 cups of water total. I started with 1 cup, and then slowly, as I was cooking the Rogan Josh, I added in more water as needed. So I would say that you're going to need at least about 2 cups of water for the amount of veggies I used, but you can always add more or less. So I cooked all of that down for about an hour, and then I added in the yogurt. So you can use a vegan yogurt, and I used 1/2 cup. You can use more if you like your Rogan Josh to be more creamy. I did cook the yogurt down then for about another hour. So in total, I cooked down this Roganjosh for 2 to 3 hours on a low flame, which is crazy, but it actually adds such a nice depth to the Roganjosh. Alternatively, you could just cook the Roganjosh for maybe an hour total, and then just leave it in the fridge overnight to marinate. So yeah, that's the finished recipe. I'll be linking the full recipe below, so if you want more details, make sure to check out the link below. Otherwise, I'm so glad that you guys joined me, and I hope you guys enjoy and make this Roganjosh.